Hi. I haven't been feeling too well lately, and I think perhaps it might have been accelerated by these videos I've been making lately. I've been just talking a lot and talking a lot about very heavy things, and I've been trying to make the subconscious conscious. By that I mean whether it's problems in my life or things that I'm dealing with, like problems of thought, that I usually wouldn't be able to articulate. I've been trying to kind of bring it to the forefront of my mind and talk about it and kind of attach words to the feelings and make it conscious, right? So that I know why I'm feeling a certain way. And I feel that perhaps in the process of doing that, I've started to, it's as if I opened a door and more is coming out than I expected. And it's not, it's not an like overwhelming amount, but it's just more than I expected. And I've started to feel the weight of very heavy things in my life now that I forgot were there, in a sense. But not that I forgot that they were there, but more they kind of faded into the background a little bit. Things that I've been dealing with since like fourth grade maybe. So that's about like 14 years ago or so. I was at the Arboretum today, which is a nature spot in Davis near campus, where there's like a creek or a pond or whatever, and there's like ducks and nature and trees and flowers, and people go there just to kind of decompress. And I went there today, and I was trying to write a poem about spring, and something about that just kind of triggered a lot of nostalgia for someone that I loved a long time ago in fourth grade. And during that time I was going through a lot at home, and I really like fell in love with this girl, and I used that as a sort of mental escape from what I was dealing with at home. So I kind of projected my ideal of, like, I don't know, I made her into something that she wasn't, because we were just kids after all. But I gave so much emotional. I allowed her to be so emotionally. I allowed myself to be so emotionally attached to this girl, because it was a way to kind of escape from what I was dealing with at home. And so when we fell apart, I it was like a death to me, because it was just such a deep loss, and that kind of stuck with me for a few years after that. And I would know, I would deal with it, but I was always like very lonely after that, or maybe even before that. But that's when I started to realize, like, now I'm pretty lonely. And like we went to different schools after elementary school, and I I never forgot about her. And she was always sort of like in the middle of my mind, like near the front of my mind. And whenever I go through hard things or whenever I go through problems, I would think of her. And so even though we weren't interacting in person, I still kind of kept her as that, ideal in my mind, ideal person, or whatever. Because again, it helped me cope with everything else that was going on. Anyways, today I kind of resurfaced some of that, and that's been something I've been trying to work on, just like ever since then. And for the most part, I did get better. And it's just today I feel like the pain, it's not that I uncovered more pain, but the pain that has always kind of been there, the loneliness, the grief from, losing this person in my life sort of faded away over time. Maybe maybe it became numb, or I just got used to it. But today, for whatever reason, it kind of just came to the very front of my mind, and I felt it very much again. And it wasn't as bad as before, but I just felt it again. And yeah, today's been kind of it's been a rough day. It's been a rough day, and I felt like shit the entire day. And I went outside, I stayed outside like almost, I don't know, like 4 hours, 5 hours or so, in the sunlight in the spring, just trying to let nature kind of heal me, just to kind of keep myself from overthinking. And it helped, I think. I think it did help. It would have been a lot harder to deal with if I was just at home. So it helped, and I'm glad for that. And I talked to a friend about it a little bit. Not about it, but just about how my day wasn't going so well. And yeah, he gave me comfort. He made me realize that, or he made me feel that I wasn't just kind of like on my own, in that I'm in my own head sometimes. He said that he's been feeling similarly too, just kind of in his own thoughts, and it has him down. So that was nice to be able to talk to someone. And I'm trying not to distract myself from it. I want to face it, and allow it to, like really wrestle with just this emotion. It's so weird because on the surface, it's like I wake up, I get food, I go outside, it's like very normal on the surface. I'm not like freaking out or anything. But inside, like in my mind, I'm wrestling with so much emotion and so much just thought. And it's hard. Like, it's mentally taxing. And it's so weird because even for myself, I kind of like look at myself from like the outside perspective, and it's weird because I'm so tired and exhausted, but I know that I'm not doing anything physical, like anything physically demanding. So it's like it's all in the mind, and it's all like this intangible battle that I can only fight through intuition and through feeling. It's hard. It's like it's just so much sometimes. And it's not debilitating like before, which is really good. I don't feel like I don't feel it as desperately as like I'm about to die or something, but it is pretty damn hard. It is pretty damn hard to deal with. And yeah, I'm looking forward to summer. I feel that sometimes when I'm in my own head, it helps to think about life not in the short term, but just in perpetuity, right? Like in a few months it'll be summer, and with that becomes more friends coming home from school, and just the sun is out, it's good swimming weather and things like that. So yeah, I'm trying to project goals into the future now, like in June or July, and not think so much about like the next couple of weeks or months, and not trying to judge my progress like in the short term, but just kind of again think about it months down the road to kind of help it help me process that life life will be more than just this. And though it's just this right now, with all of this battle of the mind, and it's like hard and it's frustrating, and it makes me restless. Because I don't have a lot of energy to think about other things or to pursue other things that I'm trying to do in my life, because it's like it's just this right now and I really have to deal with it now. So I'm restless because I want to do more. I want to do business projects. I want to have hobbies and things like that, but it's hard. And I do make time for friends, things like that, but it's still very hard. So yeah, what else? I've been working on, or not working on, I've been thinking about this game that I'm trying to create. And it's like a conversation game where there's prompts and it just kind of sparks more transcendent conversation, past the very surface level things. And that's something that I want to work on, this year. Hopefully get it on Kickstarter by summer. So hopefully that's cool. I want there to be different levels of deepness to the questions, and so to make it like a fun game, I want the theme to be kind of like courses of like a dinner, perhaps. So there's like appetizer, main course, drinks, and like each category is a different level of deepness, and kind of like play around with the idea of like having groups of questions, or having people like assemble different sets of questions out of the different categories, so that they can answer whether they want to have like a very deep conversation or something that's a little bit more approachable to like someone that they just met. So yeah, aside from that, I've been thinking about writing more poetry, and yeah, I think it'd be cool to do like poetry slams and things like that, but I don't know, for some reason I'm hesitant about it. Just like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've never done it before. Could be fun though. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, life right now is kind of slow. It's kind of slow. It's kind of hard. And it's like, I wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep. And in between, it's just like, I'm in my head, It's like all in here. And I feel like I'm making progress. And I'm making more sense out of it. And it's important for me to kind of like try to remember that just because I'm struggling doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong. I can push through the struggle sometimes, or I have pushed through the struggle sometimes to kind of get to the other side. And it's so like, it's not always going to make sense, and it's not always going to be very like, I don't know, intuitive, but yeah, I've just been trying to kind of keep that context in my mind, keep the perspective that part of the way is just the, it's like the part of the path goes through the woods, and sometimes the woods are dark and scary, where you can't see anything, but you have to just keep moving forward. And eventually, the sun starts to break through, and you start to see the path again, and you can go from there. But it's like part of the way has to be confusing. There's a quote that I really like from Sigmund Freud, and the quote is this: "In retrospect, you'll look back and the days of struggle will be the most beautiful." And right now I'm in the days of struggle. So I'm hoping that, it'll be beautiful when I look back. And yeah, so there's not much I can do now besides keep going and try to find my peace in whatever ways I can. But yeah, hard stuff, and there's not really that many people I can talk to about it. Or I guess I can, but it's like one of those things where you just kind of have to do it. So yeah. We'll see where it goes. I have faith. I've done this before. And this time I have more tools. And I have more skills, and also just, I'm stronger. Mentally, physically, just as a human. I've seen this before. And I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where it's like when you have a fever, it gets worse before it gets better. And it's like, what is it? Like your fever has to break, or whatever it's called. And I don't know, like I've had this experience in the past where it seems like as though I'm going through, something hard again, but it's not actually anything bad. It's just like this swell of intensity before, the bubble bursts. And you kind of like, it feels like you might be like struggling again, but really what it is like this, like that moment of like pain before it eases type of thing. So perhaps this is not even like a bad period, because I've been doing pretty well up until now, honestly. So I feel that it may be more just it's like the remnants of the past finding their way out. I have a good analogy. It's like if my mind is a house, and throughout the years, I invited all these guests over and they live in my house. The guests are like thoughts, right? These are some of like the very first guests that arrived at the party. And now I'm like calling everyone to the door, like, all right, party's over, and they're coming out of the basement or out of the attic, or like like the farthest room down the hallway, and walking towards the front of the house to leave. And it's like, well, I have to see them one more time before they go, right? So I think it's something like that, probably. But yeah, in a way it's nice to kind of experience it again. There is this very strange nostalgic factor to it where it's like, oh, I missed this, I remember this. But yeah, doing my best. See ya.